Super Bowl Sunday, and today we're gonna be preparing you for the big party. Graphic. Whenever you're gonna go to something like a Super Bowl party, there's always going to be some level of buffet style food. So there's a couple approaches you can take when going to a Super Bowl party. First, bring one item of your own. That means that something that you know what went into it, you know what ingredients you use, and you know exactly what the nutrition information is. So if you really don't know what's in the other things and you're gonna have some of it, not to be rude, if you wanna get full, you can stick to what you brought. And of course your friends are gonna think you're so polite for bringing something over. Second, I would sit in a place where you're not facing the food. The research shows that out of sight really does mean out of mind. So if you have your back towards the buffet, you're not gonna be sitting there eating your food, fantasizing about what you're gonna load onto your plate next. Third, enjoy the company, enjoy the game. Focus on the people that you're with, laughing, cheering for the team that you're rooting for, and not necessarily focusing on food and indulging. Approaching food at the Super Bowl party, there's definitely going to be some tricks you can use to stay away from things that might come with more calories than you bargained for. Some places to stay away from are some dips that are already made and mixed. You're not 100% sure what's going in them. It could be Greek yogurt that it's being mixed with, but it also could be mayonnaise or oil or cheese. So you're not gonna be 100% sure which one it is. So it's best to use moderation when sticking to dips, because those can be delicious and you can get to the bottom of the bowl real quick. Anything fried is also always going to be something that's gonna carry more calories than you bargained for. And then anything that's covered in sauces, including already dressed salads. Sometimes, even though it's a salad, it might have so much dressing that it could be even less calories than a burger and French fries. You never know. So opt for dressings on the side, and the safer options you can stick to are veggies, whole foods, things that you know are not covered with sauces or tons of a deep fried oil. That's gonna be your safer options. Things from the barbecue. Veggies and dips are usually somewhere on the table, or like I said before, you can bring something of your own. If you're not sure what to bring of your own, you're in luck, because this Wednesday we have a cooking episode with not 1, 2, but 3 different Super Bowl recipes that you can bring that people won't even know are macro friendly and healthy for you, because they're just so delicious. On the one hand, you have a day where you're just taking a break from tracking your macros, and then on the other hand, you have what most people call a cheat day. The word cheat day insinuates that you're doing something wrong. I mean, there is some negative connotation to cheating. Most people don't want to be a cheater. So on one hand, you're eating mostly, this is where you're just taking a break from tracking. You're eating most of the same foods that you normally eat. You're just not putting it on a food scale. You're not putting it into a tracking app, or you're not being, very precise with how you're being accountable to what it is that you're eating. But you're also not completely overindulging or eating foods that you wouldn't normally eat anyways, which is generally what comes with a cheat day. Usually you hear about eating entire pizzas, entire pints of ice cream, or like completely overindulging in ways that you just normally would never do if you were being dialed in with your nutrition. One is very different than the other, but both of them, you're not being 100% precise with your nutrition. Why is taking a complete cheat day not the best idea? Well, one, it's not gonna feel great. You're dealing with, we all have that post binge remorse, and it never feels as good as it does in the moment for the hours afterwards, if not days and weeks. It also can trigger some negative eating habits that can last for the rest of the week and not just be this one day or this one meal. It's also important to know that you could be really dialed in for the entire week. You could be making lots of progress. You could be losing weight on the scale or gaining weight on the scale, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Then this one cheat day happens, and our bodies don't generally work on a 24-hour clock the way that we think it does. So you can actually derail all the progress that you made from this past week from this one massive cheat day. Of course, if it happens once in a blue moon, there's no reason to be shameful about it. But that's why you have a coach. Like at Working Against Gravity, you can work through to make those cheat days far and few between, so you can have more days where you're just not tracking, taking a break, and you're eating things you love without being really, really precise, but less days where you're being entirely overindulgent. One really special thing that I know I always do every time I go is prepare ahead of time. So I set what my goal is going to be for the evening before I even get there. Maybe I already know I'm only gonna have one drink, or I'm only going to indulge in one particular dessert, and then I share that with an accountability partner. So for me, I get my husband Michael involved. I let him know what my goals are gonna be for that party beforehand so he can hold me accountable. If you don't have an accountability partner, Working Against Gravity is the perfect place to get one. So you can always sign up and get a coach that's gonna definitely hold you accountable at workingagainstgravity.com. And don't forget, this Wednesday we have 3 awesome macro-friendly recipes that you can bring to your Super Bowl party to help you stay on track.